Hi. Great presentation, thank you. Just a little bit, let's start. So what's the agenda today? It's a little bit of introduction. What do we need for Enscape to be able to run on our computers? A little bit of overview, and we go through assets, materials, views, landscape, environment, export, and what's next, what's coming for the next version. So I would like to introduce Fulton Trotter a little bit. You might probably know what we do. We are in practice for more than 73 years. We've done more than 240 projects over the last 3 years. Our staff is 50-50, so it's quite equal. And we've got offices, headquarters in Brisbane, we've got offices in Sydney, and we are collaborating with Melbourne, with Minx Architecture in Melbourne. Our project size is up to $100 million, which is pretty impressive. What do? We concentrating on aged care, education, health, community, and sport and recreation. So a little bit of Enscape outcome, what we do. This renders, took us too long, and it's straight from Enscape. It didn't go through photoshopping or anything. There is a little video I want to show you we've done with Enscape. It's on a fast site, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. So this was exported, few videos from Enscape, and then it was put together in Adobe Premiere, very easy. Enscape doesn't have the editing, the video editor as Twinmotion does, which is really cool, I think. But hopefully Enscape will get there. So very nice and clean surfaces, textures. Yep, and last it goes through. So you can send this to clients, social media, whatever. And it should finish now. So why we decided to go with Enscape? Because materials from Archicad come straight across. We don't have to do the double handling. Anyone can open Enscape, and anyone can save a render in seconds. So it's got on object library, which you can put in Archicad without actually having the license. So you don't need, you have one license in a firm, and you can use it without actually using the license. So, and there is no need to fiddle with bump mapping. So you want texturing on the surfaces, and you just click a button and it adds the texture on your surface. And if you got a half decent textures, that equals good render. So from out of this session and in the handouts, what we are going to achieve is 2 still images. Then we have some video, sunset, VR, and panoramatic image. You can take to cardboard goggles if you're using the BMX. Yeah, it works on those goggles as well. So you can install Enscape from Enscape website. You can trial it for 14 days. Your trial starts once you sign up, so be careful about it. It's compatible with PC. It doesn't work on Mac. But if you have, you can install Windows operating system on Mac. Graphic cards, drivers, you need to find the right balance. For example, we had a problem, Archicad with latest driver on NVIDIA, the 3D didn't work, it was empty, but Enscape works, it was fine. But for example, we rolled back, Archicad worked, Enscape didn't. So you need to find, maybe you are lucky, you will find the correct balance straight away, but sometimes it needs a bit of tempering. Installation process is the same as any other Archicad. Close Archicad, install the plugin, and start Archicad. And you will have a menu. So let's go into live demo. So I open my Archicad. Here we go. So when you install Enscape, you will get this menu on the top, and you can open, add a toolbar on the side of your Archicad. It's as any other toolbar, you can attach it to your Archicad. And when you hover over the buttons, it will tell you what it is. So very easy to navigate. So let's jump straight away to assets. So what I mean assets, they are simple objects. So every Enscape has libraries, and these libraries is become bigger and bigger. Every 3 months, there is more objects coming in. Assets can be placed in 2D or 3D. When you're placing asset, so when I open this asset library, let me go to 3D. This little button with the 3 opens the asset library. And it takes a little bit of time to load, because if you are using Teamwork, you know your libraries are on a server and it connects to the server. So these libraries are sitting on a server somewhere. And it's connecting to that server. So it takes a little bit of loading time, which is a little bit, it's not the best. But what you can do, it's loading, still loading. If you type in a search something what you are after, for example, we are after a chair. So let me open. Here you go. Okay, while this is loading, if you want to start Enscape have the window open, you click the button on the top, which has a little play and square. Okay. So it's very slow. So for example, I would like to look for a chair. There you go. Okay. So that's not really chair. Okay, it's coming. Okay, so let me take this. So see how it closed down, and once I want to place the asset or the object, you will see the rectangle, just the place where you're gonna put it. So I'll just click, and it will place itself. You can see the objects have really small polygons, small amount of polygons. But when you open Enscape, so when we start the Enscape, I already started Enscape. Let me just minimize that. So we have both softwares on the same level. So I would like to see the same view as I see in Archicad. So I just activate my, there we go. So we can see that in Enscape, let me close this editor. So we're just clicking H button, that it's not polygonal and it's got already surfaces applied to it. You cannot change the asset in Archicad. As you can see, it's locked. You cannot change the surfaces. You cannot do anything to it. But it's quite a big library, so you'll find whatever you need to. And if you really need to do something, like you wish to change the surface or something, you have to change it to morph. But it will look like you see it in Archicad, basically. So ugly. But now it reacts to surface change, and yeah, it's pretty much useless to morph it. So let's jump to materials. So Enscape supports the Archicad Basic and OpenGL engine materials, and what I mean by that is when we go to surfaces, you know how you got the engine settings, you've got CineRender and OpenGL and Basic, so Enscape doesn't read the CineRender material, so you don't have to really worry about those. Archicad texture mirroring methods, they don't work. So in surfaces, you know how you got the settings, you got your texture, this doesn't work. So if you click on those different mirroring methods, it's not reflected in Enscape. If you download the textures, 2D textures from the internet, just be careful, always look for no seamless textures. If you have a no seamless texture, you will get a tiling effect. And this texture, if you really need to use it, you need to take it to Photoshop and just edit it and make it seamless. There is a lot of YouTube tutorials on internet how to do it. So let me jump back, sorry. Not that one. So when we create a surface in Archicad, we put a texture to it. So we have a, so when I go back to this 3D image, okay, let me just minimize that. So I got my bench top. So I'm going to assign a surface to that bench top. I would like a marble bench top kitchen. So I can see bench top, it doesn't have any surface yet. So let's look, okay, I don't have a texture. So I'm going to search for a texture which I already added to my texture library. Here we go, marble, here we go. And I want to keep original proportion. I click OK. And it should. Did it apply? Let me just... Kitchen bench top. No, didn't work. All right, so that didn't work. That was a fail. But let's move on and I'll come back to it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So you can see the texture was straight away applying in Enscape. When we go into Enscape, and I would like to modify the texture. So let's go to bump. So in this bathroom, let me adjust a time of the day a little bit. And I'm going to turn on my lights. So when I open a visual settings, which is this button with the little eye, and I'm going to activate my artificial lights, which is on. That's great if something doesn't work, hey? Okay. Come on. When you want to adjust date and time, you just hold the shift button and holding your right button on your mouse and sliding, that will fix your time and date, sorry, only time in your Enscape. So, okay, that doesn't work. Let's move on. So material reflection. With using your material editor in Archicad, so I have my wall, retaining wall, and I have applied this weird texture, and I can see that this wall is highly reflective. So what I would like to achieve is to make the white squares to be non-reflective and the orange one reflective. So I open my material editor. It's channeling the same materials as in Archicad, and I'm going to look for landscape retaining wall. And you can see that there is an albedo with this texture which was automatically applied to the surface. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to down in reflection, and what I can do, I can click on use albedo, and it generates the roughness, the texture. But I can see it doesn't have any effect. In this case, see, it doesn't have any effect. So it changes. It can be metallic. You can slide the buttons, but it doesn't really change. What I need in this scenario to Enscape to recognize the difference between the white and the orange, I need to use my custom texture, which is just the black and white texture of that orange and white. So, library, textures, and what I'm after is this image, open, so it will load it. And now it should, the white will be non-reflective, the orange will be reflective. Yep, can you see? Yeah, so the white is non, the orange is reflective. So let me see if I can pump it up a little bit more. Landscape, retaining wall. So if I can go. So metallic, it's 100% metallic. So it should be super reflective. Yep, see the difference? Okay, so you can do a lot of cool stuff with the materials, but the important thing is that Enscape reads the Archicad materials straight away. You don't have to double handle the materials in Enscape, so. Oh my God, it's so slow, I'm so sorry. Here, another trick with the texture, what you can do, this bathroom has applied like a transparency. So what I've done, this is again material editor. When I go into bathroom, so I have applied a texture to my glass, and then it's reading the texture, and then I have applied mask. The mask is coming from transparency. So at the moment it's not transparent, but when I apply that texture, the transparency, it's the blue stuff. Can you see it or not really? So the blue stuff is non-transparent, and the transparent, so that means the white is non-transparent, the black is transparent. So you can apply those textures. Another thing how you can use different stuff, what you can do with materials is create carpets, like textured carpets. So when we go into, I'll just open this view. And, okay, so at the moment, what's happening? Let me just do this. Oh, it's better. Okay. So you can see that carpet is flat, but what Enscape recognize, so for example, this slab, which is acting as a carpet, has a missing texture, but what I can do, I'm going to assign a general, I'd say, but in surfaces, I'm going to rename, oops. Oh. No, let's do this carpet. If I rename it and I put word grass to it, it will generate the grass effect. And let me just change the slab to carpet. Oh, here you are. Here we go. So we've got a 3D textured carpet. So if you want to control the size of the grass or carpet, again, you go into material editor. So just thanks to that word grass, it will generate this effect of the grass. So let's find our carpet. Here we go. So it depends what type of the surface you are using. You can change between water, it will change to water, or grass. You can, the settings change a little bit, so we can adjust the height of the grass, the variation, so a different variation of the grass. Here we go. So you can do a lot of stuff with the materials, but the point of this is that Enscape reads the Archicad textures, so you just can go in on Open Enscape, set the view, and render, and you get pretty decent picture. So let's move on to lights. Archicad, you know, using lights, and Archicad has a lot of lights in it, so out of the box lights. So Enscape recognizes those lights, but it doesn't recognize the sun object and the other, that's the window object. And you can, you can only adjust the color, you can switch it on and off, and you can adjust the light distance. So that's all what Enscape is mapped to. So what I've done, I have used different lights in Archicad. So I have grabbed a lamp from SketchUp from 3D Warehouse, and I apply a general light from the Archicad. Then I would like, I created effect which has light effect mirror light behind that mirror. And then I have a neon sign, and then I have Archicad lamp as the object. So let's open there we go. So we've got our scene. Maybe if I make it like that. So it's dark because I have switched off the lights. So when we go here and I just turn on my light. So let me switch it off. It should, here we go, it generates the light. So when we change to different light source, such an IES light, it updates straight away. So you get different effect. Every surface has, in Enscape Material Editor, when I open Enscape Material Editor, has a self-illumination tick box. So if you tick that button, it will self-illuminate that surface, and you can control the luminance, and you can control the color. I found that I have to punch it up to 10,000 candela, and I can change the color of it as well. So every material can be made luminous. This Archi Intensive. I have used the neon light from BIM components. So I'm pretty sure you all downloaded stuff from bimcomponents.com. So I have downloaded stuff, the neon light out of it. So what I have to do is just to tick a box again in Material Editor to make it shiny. So neon light, self-illuminating, and here we go. So I'm just going to punch it out. The color is blue, and again, if I want to, I can make it red. And last one is just the standard Archicad object lamp, which already had the light source in it. So, my God, okay. So, and you just switch it on, and what you can control is the light intensity and then color. That's pretty much it. But I think it's sufficient. What do you want to achieve? You don't want to go too deep into creating a lights. And I'll just quickly turn it on. I'll leave here we go, and there is my light. There is another light which is on the top of here. This light is the area light, and I have applied the shape line. It never worked for me. I don't know if anyone had an experience with that, but it doesn't work for me. But it's it's not really detected by Enscape, not that much. So you can see that light goes across the whole width of the ceiling, but it only generates that little bit over there. So views. So Enscape is mirroring the views in Archicad. It depends how you set up your view. You will have a mirror image in Enscape with that view. So for example, just a little note on how you generate the views. So there is the feature coming in Enscape which will have composition grids. So you have this rule to get a great image. You should follow this rule to get a pleasant image. So people are, it's easy on eye. So when you have a camera, it never should be too high or too low. The focal point of the camera, it's the elements at the background and a little bit in the front should be a little bit blurry. That's how it is in real life. And usually use the composition grid and use it that you align your main feature on that grid. And of course, always use two-point perspectives. That means that all your lines are straight up. That's how in real world is, isn't it? Everything is straight up. So once I know my composition, so I can navigate and you can see that Enscape is reflecting the Archicad view. If I don't wanna, I will switch off the camera, and when I move it, now Enscape doesn't move. So I activate my camera in Enscape and again it moves. And again, with internal, it reflects the position as well of the view, very easy. Let's go to Enscape, which is, it's pretty good. So you can place your trees and bushes, plants in 2D or 3D. So you got your server, you know where your trees are, or instead of placing Archicad 3D trees, you can straight away put Enscape trees and you done with the landscape. So let's jump. So they work exactly as they are assets. So they work exactly as the objects I showed you before, the chairs and everything. The height and variation of the grass is controlled in Material Editor. It's exactly the same as in the carpet I showed you. So that's pretty much it. You can change the color of the grass, or Enscape reflects the texture you have applied. So I have applied a grass texture which has the little brown patches. So as you can see, let me just fix that. There you go, that's better. So what I can do if I would like really change the grass color and I would like to have it lush and green, I'll go to turf, and what I can do is just simply assign, which is super dark, or I can blend two colors together. So I don't have to go back to Archicad, change the texture. I can just quickly do it in Enscape Material Editor. Here you go. So that is very easy. And the placing a tree is same as asset. So you just grab it and place it in 2D or 3D, as I said. And it will, when you're placing an object, it will dump it into embedded library. And if you're creating new texture via Material Editor, so when we go here, you can do that as well. So you are too lazy to go to Archicad and, oh, I have to create new texture. So what you can do, you can click this plus button and import the texture into your surface. It will show up in Archicad, as in surface. But the problem with this is that it dumped it into embedded library. And the texture might be big. It can be 2 megabytes or 50, 17, whatever. So it's going to be big on size. But on the other side, the objects are super small. They are like 24 kilobytes. So they are very tiny. But you can always, once you are finished, you can get rid of the embedded objects and just link it back to the Archicad. Important thing is what I just found out today. You have to be constantly connected to the network to detect those objects. If you are not, and you link the library, the objects will disappear from Enscape. So you to be able to have the link library, you have to be connected to the internet. It's weird, but yeah, it is how it is. So the last one is the atmosphere. So you can control the clouds and the sun, of course. So it's in Enscape, everything is about sliders. So you don't have to put, it's not about difficult settings. There is such a small learning curve for this Enscape. So where do you control your atmosphere? So when you go to your visual settings, you will use these visual settings a lot. You go to atmosphere tab, and you can do intensity. So let me just go to 3D, to outside. So we have, oh, that was really fast, I didn't expect. So let me reopen the visual settings. These visual settings can be constantly open. Yeah, I don't have to close it, it's just habit, I guess. So what I can do, source horizon, at the moment I've got the clear, so I can do forest. I untick the white background because I want to have a little bit of sky. So let me just slide everything on a 0. And here I can slide my clouds. If you prefer, this works with everything, like you can slide, but you cannot type. But if you want to go in 10s, 5s, you just click on or 1s. Every slider has a different. So for example, when I'm clicking, this go in 1 point, 1%. This goes in 1 point. So every, like these settings, oh, okay. This goes in 5s. Yeah, okay, perfect. So density, then we can have a variation. That's, I can't see really difference what the variation is, but yeah, it just rotates. Cirrus, I usually use those. So they are like the soft clouds. And you can add these contra rails as well. They should show up. Yeah. So there's, and longitude, and that doesn't really change, latitude. When you are done with your settings and you are very happy with these presets, you are just, you save the presets because you will regret if you don't save. So then you lose the beautiful settings you just done in last 10 minutes, and you just can do it again if you don't save it. So you go to presets, save preset, and save to file, save it to your file project or somewhere. And then if you want to load preset, just load from file, and it will load exactly the same presets as you like. So what can we export from Enscape? So we can export still image, video. Web standalone export is that you export your Enscape and you can send the link to client, and client can export it, see it in a browser. So if the client have a pretty shitty graphics card, they can open it in a browser on the internet. So standalone executable export is .exe. You can open the Enscape without Archicad running, without Enscape running, and you don't need license. So you can send it to client, client can open and activate the VR mode, and client can just use it by itself. It's all good. And next one is panorama and for cardboard goggles or social media. So I'll show you at the end the outcome of those. So let's look at the still image. Okay, so if we are rendering the final image, you go to your to our visual settings, and I'm going to the capture tab. So there is a resolution you are going to set. So window resolution means that my screens, for example, this No, my resolution is full HD. It's this one. But because my window, my Enscape window is tiny, it will, the size of the image will be smaller. Then we've got different sizes, so it depends what you said, that's what you get. This Ultra HD, the image will be massive, like 5 megabytes, unnecessary, but you can still use it, and find out that it tends to crash when we're using Ultra HD. If you are a Photoshop user and you would like to use post-processing techniques, so you'd like to enhance your render a little bit more, there is a big help. You can export these channels. So it will differentiate when you export your render, which is the final render. It comes with different channels. So it will separate the layers by different colors. It will separate next channel is by objects, and next channel is depth. So you can just mask it in Photoshop, and it makes life much easier when you're doing the editing of the image after. So pretty straightforward. When you're doing videos, so let's go to videos. So let me just go and so the first thing I would like to do is, sorry, I just go to my exterior. I'm going to bring my, like a navigator, so clicking H button, and you can see the video editor is pressing OK, or you can click, there is a button, I don't have it here, but I can go to work environment and add extra buttons from the work environment. Yeah, and it's like, I think it's toolbars, and you know the process. Oh yeah, that's a bug, isn't it? Okay, let's close that one. Okay, so I got my navigator, and if I want to activate, I just press K. And here is my, very simple, super simple. So I'm positioning my camera, and what I can do is click this button or just click K, and my first frame or camera is positioned. Then I would like to move. Oh my God, it's so hard when you're switching between software. They have different navigations, like different styles. So when I click, just add another keyframe, and I have now 2 keyframes. So my video is almost there, and I'm just going around, and now I press K, and I have 3 cameras. So what I can do, I can preview straight away. So here we go, and I got my video. That's it. So I can, of course, I can set up my time of the day. I can move. So let's escape. Okay. So the good thing, when you are in Enscape and you accidentally close the video editor and you come back, Enscape remembers, yeah, the part. But once you close it and you didn't save your part will be lost forever. So you can see the part here. Here we go. So that's my camera part. What I can do, I can hover over the part, and I can add another camera. And it will take me there, of course. What I can do is, next one, I just confirm. I can navigate by clicking the little arrows left and right. I can start, okay, let's start in the morning. So at 7, field of view should be 97%, as Nathan said to me. That's what natural eye is. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm starting at 0 and depth of field. Okay, you can modify it, slide it, see how it looks like, and apply. Okay, it's like you have layers, and when you make a change, you have to lock the changes in. Okay, let's move to the next frame. So I just click the right button, and okay, this one will be around 9 o'clock, this frame. And when I slide my timestamp, it's telling me that the first one starting at 0, so this this second camera will start at 5 seconds. And I can apply. And next one, here we go, 12. So we can see that previous camera, it's finishing at 5 seconds. So I can say, okay, let's take 3 seconds to get another one. Okay. And when you want to exit this editor, you can. You just go back and you're out and you can do preview. So and that's it. Here we go. And what I recommend is don't have you do your video and it's going to be super long part around the whole house, go inside, outside. I would recommend you to do short snippets, like short video, and just connect it together, which the Twinmotion has really good video editor, which I really liked. Enscape doesn't have it, hopefully that will come, I don't know. But if you have a video editing software like Adobe Premiere, yeah, it's very easy to do, and I can show you how it's done if you are interested. So I'm going to leave my video editor, but save your part. So before you're closing Archicad and you really love that part, save it. So I'm going to hit this button here with the floppy disk. And I'm just going to save that part somewhere in my file folder. And if I want to load that file, I'm going to load the part back, and it will, again, I will get the same part. So just a little, what the settings means when you are saving your video. This is only settings you can do with video, and it's enough. So compression quality, it doesn't affect your rendering time. So if it's higher value, this maximum, you will get a better quality window. So email does pretty good quality. I'll show you, I've done a sun study, so I'll show you that's done with the email settings, with that compression. Lossless means that the video will be exported as a PNG images. Yeah, so then in a video editing software, I guess you can do something with it. Useless for us, I would say. This frame per second, so more frames per second equals smoother video, but longer saving time. So I've done a sun study. So what I've done with the sun study, I think it looks pretty good. So what I need to do is I'm going to load my preset because I have saved some sun study presets. So I'm going to load it from my file, library, desktop, Enscape settings, sun study. Here we go, and it's just white, and even white shows the bump texture. It's the texturing I was after with that bathroom fail I was trying to show you. So that looks pretty cool. And after I exported it as a video, I'll just quickly show you what I've done. Here is the sun study. It's just a few seconds. So that time and date was in Adobe Premiere. I can again show you how it's done if you're interested. And the timestamp will come as a new feature in Enscape. So there's things coming slowly. The guys in Enscape are really nice. So they're trying their best. Here we go. I think it looks pretty cool. I just created another video when I was sitting here. And that is a light study. So the red one is where the strongest sun hits. And it's just fun. It's just little light analysis. It's red at the background because I didn't have any surroundings. Yep. So that is pretty cool. Next one is the executable. So we have these buttons, yep, EXE and a web. When you click the executable, it will export as a save as. You save the file somewhere and you just have to send it to your client via Dropbox or something. The web, you open it in browser. So when you save it, it will load into this Manage Uploads button. I don't know how to call it, but it's Manage Uploads, and as well as the panorama. So when I open the Manage Uploads, I have 2 tabs on the top. So I got my panorama and web standalone. So it's loading, okay. But so this web standalone, this panoramatic image, sorry, I got it here. It's just a JPEG, you know, when you get the BMX, it exports like this, but you cannot walk. But what I've done, I'll take you to my Facebook, and I upload it to Facebook social media, and I can look around and see. I think it's a pretty marketing stuff, like pretty good. Okay, and it's good quality as well. So, here we go. So when I click on that model, it will open the browser. Oh, that was fast. And it will load itself. Okay, and I can do that, copy the link, and send it to the client. Okay, and I have a standalone. I'm going to open it, which I exported the exe. The export took probably 2 minutes, so it's fast. Okay, this loads too fast, but it will basically open, oh, okay. It opens this. Open this, and you will have a little settings on the side, the standalone, which you have like few settings you can tick, you can activate the VR mode. Yeah, nothing difficult for client. All right, so I am going to finish my presentation. So what's next with Enscape? I've got this one from the website. So the next release should be coming in now. What's new that it will have orthographic views, so sections, planes, display beam data, which when I assume, I don't know how it's going to look, but I assume it's going to, when you click on the object, it will give you all this information about that element. And another asset library addition. There's so many asset additions every 3 months, so it's amazing how fast they are working. But what I would like to say is when you're working with Enscape and your computer is struggling, like mine is, of course, what you can do is in visual settings, in that, my favorite button here at the bottom, is when you do rendering quality, this is the live. So set it up to medium, it won't shoot that much power. And another thing is when you can click to save your computer as well is this general settings, which is the button above, the button with the eye. When you go to performance, untick the grass rendering because that always adds too much resources to it. But for Fulton Trotter, Enscape was great addition. And I don't know what's the pricing for 2020 Twinmotion, if it's still free. But Enscape is pretty cheap. It will, you can get a floating license for $1,000 a year, or you can subscribe. I just bought single license, fixed license for $68 per month. You can cancel any time. So I'm going to just cancel after this. So I just used it for a month, and it's not very expensive. All the information can be found on the handouts. You just click on the link, look at the pricing. Very good piece of software, which talks nicely to Archicad. Okay, that's it. CPDs, again, don't forget about CPD. And do you guys have any questions? Oh yeah, they do. I was probably too optimistic, but I'll show you. They look like this, which is, let me go to ground floor. So that's how the red objects are the Enscape objects. Yeah, you can see. And the trees, here they are like that. Yeah, and in Archicad in 3D, they look like that. You can change the surface. The surface change will be visible in Archicad, but it doesn't reflect in Enscape. It will read its own materials, so yeah. And just one more thing. Sorry. You know, do you use the gravity tool? It doesn't work on those trees. So you can kind of have to, yeah, that's it.